Good evening, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of Important Information. Today's video is going to be about the chakra system, and even calling it the chakra system makes it sound like mythical and ambiguous, but really, I want to talk about the body. It's undeniable that we all have a body, and it's also undeniable that our body is broken up into different body parts, and each of these body parts have different functions. So what I want to talk about is how each of these body parts has functions and how those functions can be related to mental processes or values within ourselves. And the chakra system is this idea that each area of our body, starting in the groin area and moving its way up like a ladder, each one of these areas, the groin, the gut, the chest, the throat, and the head, each one of these areas becomes its own area, and it has its own energetic system or its own chakra. So let's start at the base chakra at the bottom of the spine, and for the sake of analogy, let's call our pelvic area and the spine and the head, let's relate it to like a ladder. And depending on where you put the base of the ladder will depend on where the top of the ladder goes. And what's inspired this video actually is I was watching a YouTube video, and somebody made a comment about pornography, and it was a humorous joke about pornography, and I just said, yeah, it's not so funny when you figure out what porn is doing to you. And then I explained that the groin area is about attraction. There's no doubt that pornography stimulates a form of attractedness in us and turns us on. So what turns you on? What are you attracted to? And essentially the values that you put into that area affect the other areas. And that's why pornography is so serious in terms of overall mental health. Because the things that the groin or the healthy groin area are about, let's say from a man's perspective, what should truthfully and purely turn a man on is a woman who is shown to be receptive and would be a positive mother to a child of mine. So she's displayed signs of intelligence and patience and nurturing and love, and basically the type of woman I would want to marry and have a child with. So that's the where the values should be. Now, when we watch pornography, we are essentially watching something that if we saw our wife or our mother or our sister doing, not to put shame to that, but we would probably be concerned about that woman, and we would want to help them find a lifestyle where they didn't have to do that. So when we're watching pornography, we are conditioning our body to become attracted to these false values. Now, as we work our way up the ladder, let's go from the groin to the gut area. And this area is about digesting things. And also, when I think about exercising, I'm thinking about doing sit-ups. We use our stomach to move us and to hold us up and to support ourselves. So the fact that digestion and stuff goes on there, I want to talk about nutrition and valuing the things that we bring into ourselves. The gut area is also the center of our body. So the center of anything is going to be what supports the rest of the thing. And that's where our food goes. So whatever we're eating is very important. What things are we taking into ourselves? And in the same sense as what are we attracted to, What are we allowing in our body? And you can see if you are willing to pervert or accept lesser values in our groin area, like with pornography, you're likely going to be okay with accepting lesser values for your nutrition as well. And as we work up our way from the groin to the gut to the chest, now we're in the heart area, and heart is known for emotions and connection. So drawing boundaries, I find, and controlling our emotions and figuring out how this world affects us and what are we willing to put up with. Again, it's about our boundaries and what do we believe we deserve. And sometimes we really have to say no to things, and other times we've got to say yes to new things in order to make these changes. So, and again, if you've accepted false values in the groin, you're going to be more likely to accept false values in the gut with the nutrition and the things we take into ourselves. And then when you get up to the emotional area, you'll probably be already quite confused because you have two layers of false values. And now you're trying to, at that point, decide what makes me happy and what doesn't really make me happy. And you're going to be experiencing probably a little bit of turmoil. And if you don't know what you should be attracted to, then you're not going to know what to move towards, what changes to make in your life. So the heart area is about connection and emotions, and it's what speaks to us. And our heart plays a very special role in our life. It is the speaker for our life, for our conduct. So then let's move up to the throat area. And the throat area is the nexus point from our head to our body. And our body and our head are quite different. Our body is the worker, and the head doesn't do any work in the physical sense. It literally just sits there on our neck. So this neck area is that nexus point. It's the connection between the things that we're like doing now with thinking about things, and then the actions, putting them into the body and informing the body. And funny enough, it's also where our voice comes from, how we inform the world. And so this area is the nexus point between our thoughts and our ideas, and how it informs the body. And what we're doing now is trying to re-inform the body about how to adjust values. And so after we go from the neck, let's go up one more into the head. And this is the world, the heavenly world. We're in this dome. We have this brain that attaches into a world that is completely unphysical. And in this area, by the time we're here, there is so much momentum from the energy flowing up this ladder, up this energetic electrical platform, from our groin to our gut to our heart to our throat, and now it's already in our head. And if our values are perverted or are not quite to the standard that we want to be living, then our mind is going to be experiencing that, and it knows. It definitely knows that there's no coincidence that the brain sits in its own fluid. It's not actually attached to anything other than the fluid that it's in. It's like its own little world in there. So it knows when things are wrong, and that's why it brings you to videos like this and experiences to be had. And until we're all, completely satisfied with where we are at in life, the brain, this area, is the watcher, is the guy at the top of the mountain who can tell you the lay of the land. And so this, again, like wherever we decide to put the base of the ladder, will determine where does the top of the ladder go to. And pornography simply puts that ladder in a place where the top is never going to reach where you want to go. So yeah, I hope that's very helpful for you guys. The chakra system is not some mystical thing. It's a real thing. We have a body, and each body part has its own job and its own duty. And I hope that this has been a helpful video for you guys. Thanks a lot for listening. Love you guys lots, and good night.